How's it going, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of the Mavs Step Back Podcast. I'm your host, Dalton Trigg. You can find me, as always, on Twitter for all of my Mavs-related content at Dalton_Trigg. All of my written work is at DallasBasketball.com. You can find the Mavs Step Back Podcast anywhere you listen to your podcasts. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe on all those different platforms. Go give us a subscription on YouTube. Give us all the likes, comments, all that good stuff over there. We really appreciate you guys doing that. If you ordered, before we get started here, but if you ordered one of our Dirk Hall of Fame t-shirts, those are printed. They're officially printed, and they're being mailed out today. So I appreciate you guys' patience with that. You know, we do have a thing set up with TeePublic where we have several different t-shirt designs for the podcast, but this one wasn't a TeePublic thing. It was like one of my friends from college. He has his own t-shirt printing company. So all these were, done individually, and it took a little bit longer than expected, but they look great. We got them out in the mail today, so be on the lookout for that if you ordered a Dirk Hall of Fame t-shirt. I appreciate you guys, sticking with me doing these pods from my truck here, because look, I mean, if you're married, if you're a married man like I am, and you've been married for a while, you understand that the holidays come with a lot of shopping. So I'm off of work this week, my day job work, but that means going to town with the wife and, having to go to Home Goods and Hobby Lobby and At Home and Target and all these different places, getting prepared for Christmas and getting prepared to make stuff for Thanksgiving later this year, all that kind of stuff. So naturally, it makes sense for me to take some of this time sitting in a parking lot to do podcasts. So if you're watching on YouTube and you're wondering why I'm doing this, that's why. I'm making good use of my time. So yeah, look, the Mavs, they're 9-5, not terrible, but considering that they started 8-2, it's also, kind of deflating, because they could have beaten the Bucks on Saturday night. They didn't. Some of that had to do with the officiating in the fourth quarter, but a lot of it had to do with the Mavs' lack of defense, not being able to stop a nosebleed, so to speak. Two sides of a coin there, and they just weren't able to get it done. Then on the second night of a back-to-back, going back home to Dallas, taking on the Sacramento Kings, who are an offensive juggernaut with Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox, who I've loved ever since that draft, that 2018 draft. I love De'Aaron Fox. I wish there was some way he could have fell to the Mavs. Like, if the Mavs, I mean, look, I love Kyrie Irving too, but, age-wise, if the Mavs had De'Aaron Fox and Luka Doncic, that would be ideal for not just now, but for the future too. Because as much as I love Kyrie Irving, he's 31, so he's not getting any younger. He's still amazing, but just looking ahead into the future, it's like, man, what could that have looked like with Luka and De'Aaron Fox? But anyway, the Mavs, their defense gave up nearly 130 yet again after giving up 132 points to the Bucks on Saturday night. They lose to the Kings 129-113 at American Airlines Center and fall to 9-5. The offensive rebounds continue to be an issue. They gave up 14 to the Kings. So, I mean, even if you get a stop, even if you force a miss, that's 14 times that you forced a miss or just had a miss by the Kings, and you weren't able to get the rebound, and it led to a second chance opportunity for the Kings. So that's a backbreaker for a team that's already limited size-wise. You have to find a way to limit those second chance opportunities. They didn't get out rebounded overall that bad. It was 48-40. We've seen worse disparity there, over the course of the season. And even the points in the paint wasn't as bad as what it usually is 58 to 46. So, Grant Williams after the game, he stated that the Mavs basically just have to give a better. I agree. They do need to give better effort, consistent effort on a nightly basis, but I don't know if this is just an effort thing. It might just be a size thing. It might just be we have Derek Lively as a legitimate starting center, even though he lacks experience and he's 19 years old. We have him as the main paint presence, but then there's nobody behind him. Like Dwight Powell, God love him, he gives amazing effort. In 10 minutes per game off the bench, I can see where he could be effective, but he doesn't have the physical tools to get it done defensively the way the Mavs need him to. So they got to do something. Maxi Kleber, he's out for probably another week, and even if he does come back, I mean, he wasn't looking like the Maxi Kleber we've seen in the past before he got injured. So, I mean, I'm not sure how much that fixes things. It's probably going to come down to the Mavs having to make a trade. So we'll keep an eye on that. I wrote a piece on DallasBasketball.com the other day detailing a couple of different ideas that I had, not just with the Toronto Raptors, but with the Chicago Bulls as well. A couple different intriguing situations to keep an eye on as this season progresses. So, yeah, the Mavs, they couldn't get it done on that back-to-back. They've now lost 3 of their last 4 games, which, I can't help but kind of feel a little bit responsible for, because this slide started with that second game in New Orleans on the Voodoo Court. But I was there for the first game where they blew out the Pelicans. So, I mean, I guess it can't all be on me. But overall, I was talking with my guy Kirk Henderson and former co-host of this podcast, Matt Galatson, the other day about how the Mavs are the Mavs have lost 5 out of their last 6 games with me in attendance. So maybe that's the basketball gods giving me a sign that I need to retire from going to games altogether. I don't know. Maybe it's just a coincidence. But before we get into this Mavs Lakers game that's happening on Wednesday night, we're going to take a quick ad break. I want to tell you about the Sleeper app. So, look, if you think you know basketball, if you like daily fantasy sports, get the Sleeper app, and it makes it very easy to make picks on NBA games on a nightly basis. Obviously, the Mavs aren't playing tonight, but there's several different games. You've got Toronto versus Orlando. You've got Indiana versus Atlanta. You've got Cleveland versus Philadelphia, Portland versus Phoenix, and then you've got the Utah Jazz versus the LA Lakers. So the Mavs are catching the Lakers on the second night of a back-to-back. And, since it's the first night of a back-to-back for them, they're going to be playing all of their starters fresh. The over-under for LeBron James tonight on points is 25.5. I'm going to take the over there. I think he's going to be energized on this first night of the back-to-back, and I think he gets the over against this Utah Jazz team that, I don't think they have the guys to stop him. So I'm taking the over on points for LeBron. For Philadelphia versus Cleveland, Tyrese Maxey, who has just been incredible this year since they got James Harden over to the Clippers. He has just exploded. Looks like a superstar player now. The over-under for points against Cleveland is 24.5. Again, I'm taking the over. I don't think that Cleveland backcourt with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, I don't think they can stop Tyrese Maxey. And I think he's going to have a big night against Cleveland. I'm taking the over of 24.5 points for Tyrese Maxey. And then another one, Kevin Durant versus the Portland Trailblazers, 28.5 points. I'm taking the under for Kevin Durant, and that is not because I think that the Trailblazers are going to limit him to that. It's because I think this game is going to be such a blowout before it gets to the fourth quarter that Kevin Durant's not going to play the entire game. So I think the Suns blow out the Trailblazers, and I'm taking the under for Kevin Durant on points, the 28.5 points. So, guys, be sure to get the Sleeper app and use promo code STEPBACK. That's STEPBACK to get up to $100 off your first deposit matched. That is, again, promo code STEPBACK. So, guys, appreciate you listening to my little ad read there and all these great sounds coming from the highway next to me as I sit in this Hobby Lobby parking lot. Just adds a little extra ambiance to it. So you hear all these people revving up their engines, showing how cool they are. That's what that is. But okay, Mavs, Lakers, two teams going in two separate directions right now. Like I said, the Mavs are they're 1-3 in their last 4 games. The Lakers have won 5 out of their last 6 games. So they're on a little streak right now. And the two teams are only separated by 1 game in the Western Conference standings. The Mavs are currently, I believe they're 5th. Hold on, I just had it pulled up here. Okay, yeah. So the Mavs, they are currently 4th. They're 4th in the West. Just ahead of the Sacramento Kings, and then the Lakers are 6th in the West. So, and they're separated by 1 game. So, pretty big game at Crypto.com Arena on Wednesday night. The Lakers, again, they'll be on the second night of a back-to-back. It'll be their 3rd game in 4 nights. But, you know, the Mavs had the same situation where they played the Bucks, who were playing their second night of a back-to-back, their 3rd game in 4 nights, and the Mavs were coming off of multiple days of rest, and they still couldn't beat the Bucks. So, you know, you're at a point now in the season where it's like, does it really even matter, you know, when it comes to stuff like that? But the Mavs, they have the 3rd best offense in the league. The Lakers are the 24th best offense. So in that department alone, the Mavs should have more firepower than the Lakers. They should be able to outscore them theoretically. But, you know, the defense, that's where it gets kind of dicey. The Lakers, they have a middle-of-the-pack defense. The Mavs, they are a bottom 6 defense. They're 24th ranked in that category. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. If the Mavs can muster up any kind of decent effort defensively, their offense should be able to blow away from the Lakers. That's just how it is. There's too much offensive firepower. That's one area we do not have to worry about with the Mavs this season. Even if certain guys struggle, if Josh Green continues to struggle, if Grant Williams isn't hitting his 3-pointers, if Derrick Jones Jr. decides to have an off night where he's not scoring any points, it doesn't really matter because they're going to get points from somewhere on their roster. There's too many talented guys. There's too many guys who can put the ball in the basket. Paired with Luka and Kyrie, points are going to be there to be had. So, you know, we'll see how it goes for the Mavs. They tend to play really well versus the Lakers. You know, this is a team where everybody feels the extra juice from it being a star versus star matchup with Luka and LeBron, and then you have Kyrie and AD. And, you know, the Lakers, they made it to the Western Conference Finals last year, and they were touted as having the best offseason out of everybody. The Mavs, they were kind of overlooked, and then they got out to the hot start, and then after being on this current skid, everybody's like, well, you know, was the skepticism warranted? There's a lot of different storylines going into this one, and I'm sure, you know, both teams have something that they want to prove, but especially Luka. Luka loves the lights in L.A., he loves the spotlight. So I am looking forward to a very entertaining matchup. I'm not gonna get into predictions for this one because, I mean, my gut feeling is that the Mavs are going to come out and have a really spirited bounce back performance, and they're finally going to get back in the win column. But I just don't trust this defense. Even if they give better effort, I don't know if they have the personnel and the size defensively for it to matter. Especially when you have LeBron, who seems to, his eyes kind of light up when he goes against the Mavs too. He tends to play pretty good games against Dallas. So, and I mean, why not? Because it was the lowest point of his career against Dallas in the finals in 2011, and he's just taken it to the Mavs ever since. So we'll see how it goes. LeBron versus Luka head to head. LeBron currently has the edge 7-4. So we'll see if Luka can get his 5th victory against LeBron. Assuming LeBron plays, I mean, it's going to be the second night of a back-to-back. We'll have to see if he plays, and even if he does play, if his minutes are limited and all that stuff. But, for LeBron to be 38 years old, he certainly doesn't look like he's 38 years old. He is defying, the father time stuff right now. It's amazing. He is still playing at a superstar level at 30, and he's about to be 39. So, I mean, shout out to him. I mean, I know I haven't been the biggest LeBron fan over the years. I know many of you obviously aren't either. But we got to at least tip our hat to the guy. He is still a stud at 38 going on 39 years old. It's crazy. But, I hope he looks like an old man on Wednesday night. But we'll just have to see how it goes. Well, a lot of the guys were kind of down. Luka seemed down. Grant Williams trying to lift Luka's spirits after that last loss. But, they'll be in LA. They've had a few days off. Thanksgiving coming up. They get to spend a bunch of time in LA, not just for this game, but then Saturday they play the Clippers. So they're in LA for Thanksgiving. That may or may not be a good thing, depending on, if they plan on partying a good bit. So we'll have to keep an eye on that too. But overall, I have a feeling that they're gonna turn this around for at least a couple of games here. And I might be wrong, but I think they're going to show enough pride, to get back on the horse, so to speak. But guys, look, I appreciate y'all coming in and listening to another episode of Mavs Step Back Podcast. Again, be sure to go like, rate, and subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms, and hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Leave us some likes. Leave us some comments, all that. We have conversations in our comment section on YouTube on a week-to-week basis. So be sure to go do that, and I will be sure to answer any questions you may have for me. Appreciate it, y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your week. Have a great Thanksgiving. I'm going to try to come on here at the latest, maybe Thursday morning, to recap the Lakers game. But at the very latest, if I'm not able to do that, because I've got several different things I've got coming up with Thanksgiving, if I'm not able to do that, I'll be back on here before that Clippers game, probably on Friday. So, but again, I'm going to try to be on here Wednesday to recap that Wednesday night or Thursday morning to recap that Mavs Lakers game. But guys, appreciate it. Y'all have a good one. I'll see you.